Chapter 7, Property Rights, Estates and Tenancies, Condominiums, Cooperatives, and Timesharing. Bundle of legal rights are real property ownership rights consisting of the rights of disposition, enjoyment, exclusion, possession, and control. Common elements: roofs, elevators, and recreational facilities that are legally attached to condominium units and are transferred with the units when they are sold. Concurrent ownership means ownership by two or more persons at the same time. Condominiums, multi-unit projects consisting of individual ownership of a dwelling unit and undivided ownership of common areas. Condominium documents are a set of papers describing the condominium and the association. Cooperative is a multi-unit dwelling owned by a corporation. Owners purchase shares in the corporation and receive a proprietary lease. Declaration of condominium is a recorded document that creates the condominium. Estate for years is a written lease with a definite termination date. Estate in severalty occurs when title to property is held by one person. Fee simple estate is the most common type of ownership. It is the most comprehensive collection of property rights and may be inherited. Fixtures are objects that were personal property but have been permanently attached to or made part of real property by attachment. Freehold estate is an ownership interest for an indefinite period of time. Homestead law provides certain types of protection and benefits to homeowners regarding their permanent residence. Joint tenancy is an ownership interest between two or more persons with right of survivorship. Land refers to the surface of the earth and to everything attached to it by nature. Leasehold estate's tenancy is an interest in real property that a tenant possesses, measured in calendar time. A life estate is a freehold estate that ends with the death of a named person, ownership for an individual's natural lifespan. Littoral rights are associated with land abutting tidal bodies of water such as an ocean, sea, or lake. Non-freehold estates have a known duration and do not involve an ownership interest. Personal property, or chattel, is any tangible item that is not real property and that is movable. Proprietary lease is the document that entitles a shareholder in a cooperative to possession of a unit. Prospectus. A developer is required to provide purchasers a prospectus if the condominium consists of more than 20 residential units or is a part of a group of residential condominiums that will be served by property to be used in common by unit owners of more than 20 units. The prospectus summarizes some of the major points detailed in the condominium documents. Real estate refers to the land and all improvements permanently attached to the land. Real property includes all real estate plus the legal bundle of rights inherent in the ownership of real estate. Remainder man is the third party to whom a property is transferred at the end of a life estate. Vested if named, contingent if not named. So a vested remainder man is named, and a contingent is not named, as in firstborn child. Right of survivorship means that when a co-owner dies, that co-owner's share goes to the surviving co-owners and not to the deceased tenant's heirs. Riparian rights are associated with land abutting the banks of a river, stream, or other watercourse. Separate property is non-marital assets. Tenancy at sufferance exists when the tenant, after rightfully being in possession of the rented property, continues possession after the tenant's right has ended, a holdover tenant. Tenancy at will is a leasehold in which the tenant holds possession of the premises with the owner's permission but without a fixed term. Tenancy by the entireties is an estate created by a married couple who take title together at the same time. Tenants in common is the most frequently used form of co-ownership except for ownership by a married couple. Timeshare ownership involves an undivided interest in a living unit according to the number of weeks purchased. Trade fixture is an item of personal property attached to real property that is owned by a tenant and used in a business that is legally removable by the tenant. Undivided interest is an interest in the entire property rather than ownership of a particular part of the property. Key concepts: Land, real estate, and real property. Land refers to the surface of the earth and items attached by nature. Real estate includes land and all human-made improvements. Real property includes real estate plus the legal bundle of rights. Physical components, rights of land, are surface, subsurface, and air. Surface rights include water rights. Riparian, associated with land abutting a flowing waterway such as the banks of a river or stream. Littoral, associated with land abutting tidal bodies of water such as an ocean and sea, and non-flowing water such as ponds and lakes. Subsurface rights consists of an owner's rights to underground minerals, petroleum, and natural gas, referred to as mineral rights. Definitions associated with water rights. Accretion is the process of land buildup from waterborne rocks, sand, and soil. Alluvion is the resulting new deposits of land caused by accretion. Erosion is the gradual loss of land due to natural forces. Reliction is the gradual receding of water, uncovering additional land. Real property versus personal property. Chattel. Anything that is not real property is personal property. Real property becomes personal property by act of severance. Personal property consists of items having a limited life that are easily movable from one place to another. Real property is land and improvements. Fixtures were personal property that have been permanently attached to and made part of real estate. Legal test to decide if an item is a fixture. IRMA. Intent of the parties, relationship or agreement of the parties, method or degree of attachment, and adaptation of the item. Bundle of legal rights. Deep C. Real property ownership rights include the right of disposition, right to sell or give away, enjoyment, right of quiet enjoyment, exclusion, right of no trespass, possession, right to occupy, and control, right to control. Estates and tenancies. Estate refers to the degree, quantity, nature, and extent of interest, ownership rights a person can have in real property. Estates are divided into two general groups. Freehold estates are for an indefinite length of unknown duration. Leasehold estates, non-freehold estates, are for a fixed term, known duration. Fee simple estate. Fee simple, and fee simple absolute. Largest bundle of legal rights. Ownership interest with complete power to use, to dispose of, and to allow the property to descend to heirs. Highest type of real property interest recognized by law. Most title to property is held in fee. Life estate, measured by a person's lifetime. Conventional life estates can be created by the person who holds title to real property. Created by the grantor, who transfers the freehold estate to an individual for a period of time measured by a person's lifetime. Provide for the grantee, person receiving the life estate, to have use and title during the life of the holder, whoever's life the interest is based on. Legal life estates are created by law. Estate in reversion occurs when property returns to the grantor, previous owner. Remainder estate occurs when property goes to a third party known as a remainder man. The remainder man owns a remainder estate while the life estate exists. The remainder man acquires a fee simple estate in severalty, or if there is more than one remainder man, the remainder men acquire some form of concurrent ownership. Homestead, benefits and protections. Protection of the family if a married person dies and the family homestead was titled in the deceased person's name only. By operation of law, the surviving spouse receives a legal life estate, and the children, lineal descendants, receive a remainder estate. If no children, surviving spouse receives a fee simple estate in survivor's name only in severalty. Protection of homestead from forced sale for certain debts. Tax exemption up to $50,000 for qualifying homesteads. Size restriction of 1/2 acre inside a city or 160 acres outside a municipality. Personal property of $1,000 included in homestead protections. Non-freehold estates, leaseholds, have a known duration and do not involve an ownership interest. It grants the right of quiet enjoyment to use and possess but not own real property. Under a lease, the tenant possesses a leasehold estate and the landlord property owner possesses a reversion estate. At the end of a leasehold estate, the right of quiet enjoyment reverts to the property owner. Estate for years is a written lease agreement with a specific starting and ending date that establishes an interest in real property for the tenant but does not convey actual title or the right of disposition. Tenancy at will is a lease agreement that has a specific beginning date but no fixed ending date. Tenancy at sufferance occurs when the lease period has ended and the tenant is in holdover. Sole ownership occurs when title to property is held by one person, an estate in severalty. Co-ownership means title to real property is shared by two or more persons, concurrent ownership. Examples are tenancy in common, joint tenancy, and tenancy by entireties. That's co-ownership. Features of tenancy in common: two or more people, undivided possession, interest equal or unequal percentage, take title at same time or at different times, and heirs inherit with no right of survivorship. Features of a joint tenancy: pits. Each joint tenant has undivided possession. Each joint tenant has equal interest. Joint tenants take title at the same time. Joint tenants are all named on the same title and must expressly state right of survivorship. Pits. Possession, interest, time, title, survivorship. Features of tenancy by the entireties: married couple takes title together, undivided possession, right of survivorship, same title, same time, only available to a husband and wife, is tenancy by the entireties. Cooperative is a multifamily building owned by a corporation. The corporation holds the title to the land and improvements. The unit owners purchase share of stock in the corporation. Proprietary lease entitles purchaser right to occupy the unit. Transfer of ownership of a cooperative unit accomplished by sale of stock. Condominium consists of condo units and common elements. Individual owns a unit in fee simple plus an undivided fractional share of the common elements. Property taxes are levied on individual units. Condominium documents. Declaration of condominiums documents contains legal description of the units and, once recorded, creates the condominium. Articles of incorporation of the association create the corporate entity responsible for operating the condominium. Bylaws of the association describe operational requirements and provide for the administration of the association. Frequently asked questions and answers inform prospective purchasers about restrictions on the leasing of a unit, information concerning assessments, and whether the unit owners or the association are obligated to pay rent or land use fees for recreational facilities. Estimated operating budget details estimates of various common expenses that are to be shared by the unit owners. Developer. The developer is required to file the condo docs with the Division of the Florida Condominiums, Timeshares, and Mobile Homes prior to offering units for sale. If there are 20 or more new residential units, the developer must prepare and file a prospectus. Prospectus must be given to prospective purchasers. Condominium disclosures: new residential units sold by the developer. Needs a prospectus for 20 or more new residential units. Estimated operating budget, declaration of condominium, articles of incorporation, bylaws, and frequently asked questions. Condominium disclosures: resale units, private party sales. Most recent year-end financial report, rules of the association, declaration, articles of incorporation, bylaws, frequently asked questions, and governance form. Timesharing. Property is first organized as a condominium. Each unit is divided into time intervals. Timeshare disclosure allows purchasers to cancel the contract within 10 calendar days. Timeshare resale listing agreement disclosure. Timeshare ownership. Interval ownership is fee simple ownership. Right to use is a leasehold interest. Important dates and time periods to remember: 3 business days. Notice to cancel resale cooperative or condominium contract. 7 days. Notice required for week-to-week tenancy at will. 10 days. Notice to cancel timeshare contract by developer or resale. 15 days. Notice required to cancel month-to-month tenancy at will. 15 days. Notice to cancel cooperative or condominium contract with developer.